Hey guys, so this is actually going to be my first truly spontaneous video, I guess. And you can tell it's spontaneous for a few important factors. Number one, my hair is uncombed. So while my hair is never really combed well, especially during coronavirus times, it's even worse than usual. Number two, how steady the camera is. Like that should be my first objective, is learn how to hold a camera. Number two is, I don't know how this looks, but like I've got a light. Let me see if I can show you. That is shining in my eyes. Uh and I don't know how I'm doing with that. I don't know how it looks. Anyway, I this is spontaneous because there's some things that I wanted to make sure I got to you guys with before I forgot them, and that's already happening right now. Like I had these epiphanies, and they're already starting to slip away, but hopefully I can remember enough of them to talk to you a little bit about it. So I'm talking to you after a coronavirus grocery run earlier today, as usual. It's a rule now. It's a rule to YouTube after coronavirus grocery run. But it's like 1 a.m. now, or 1:30 a.m. And I've been noticing some patterns in how people are dealing with coronavirus and how I'm dealing with it. And that's what I wanted to talk about. So my last video, I talked about a friend who'd been having this like consistent low grade anxiety. And that's a common thing, even as we start to open up, which I guess, certain states are starting to open up now. The state where I am, which is Maryland, we actually are still pretty much shut down, except for essential workers. But the place where I'm trying to move, which is Florida, they're slowly starting to open up. So anyway, even as we open up and we go back to a new normal, I have this feeling it's not what everyone expected, right? Like, it's not this grand opening that everybody kind of like in their mind they saw. It's a new normal. Like, by definition, it's new, it's something different. It's still not the old comfortable way that we were used to. But even without that, even just talking about the way that people are dealing with this and the anxiety people are having because of coronavirus, I've noticed patterns, some important trends, I think. So earlier today, I was speaking with a friend about writing, which is what I love to do. um, it was actually a fellow poet, and I really respect her style. And I was talking to her about a possible collaboration. And I said, perhaps you'd want to write about Corona. Like, that's something that everybody can relate to. That's something we could definitely collab on and write about each of our experiences. And her response was interesting. She said, I don't want to write about that because I'll get stuck in it. And that was that's an eye-opening thing, because I think she's right. I think a lot of times when we write, we say it's like cathartic and we're writing to release, when the truth is that's great and that happens sometimes, but sometimes when we write, we actually get stuck on the thing we're writing about. And that's like a little secret in the writing community that's not really discussed a lot, is that sometimes writing or speaking or complaining about something or drawing something can actually get us stuck. We can end up fixating on the very thing that we wanted to let go or get out off our chest. And so I could talk, like, so I have some tips about, like, I guess what we can actually do to actually get something off our chest when we write or talk about it. Just essentially, I think there's two ways to do it. One is we are either writing about something retrospectively, where we're reflecting on it, and we found a solution. So there's movement in our writing, or there's movement in the way we talk about it. Like, this is the kind of thing that happened. This is what I learned from it. This is what I grew from it. This is how I grew. The other way is to explore a concept while we write about it. Like, instead of just festering in it, we're exploring it. So we're talking about, like, exploring. I mean, that's what poetry is, really. We're working around the edges and in the cracks of concepts. So we're exploring the nuances, and we're probably understanding more and more of the depth as we write. And so in that way, there's motion. There's a diving into something, and a lot of times we come away with insight that we didn't even go in with. I think that can be helpful. It's when we are just complaining, or when we are just fixating on a problem, that writing tends to be unhelpful. So, by the way, this holding a phone in the air thing is it's definitely not as easy as they make it look. Like, I have new respect for all the peeps on Instagram just taking selfies all day. Wow, you guys got the strong you got them strong selfie arms. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh, so anyway, all that aside, I've noticed this pattern during this time where we are having trouble with dealing with our negative thoughts in a healthy way. And I think, in a sense, that's what Corona lockdown has done. It's put us all in a situation where most of us are more isolated. We don't have the same support networks that we had before. We don't have the same group of friends. We don't have the same networks at work. And we don't have the same busy schedule to keep our minds off of whatever our problems are. So, I mean, we may be busy, but it's a type of busy where we're forced to confront the issues, right? So I think we're dealing with being forced to sit with our negative thoughts. And that's a pattern that I think I've noticed. Patterns. I guess that's what INFJs do. I guess that's what intuitive types in general do. Pattern detection. But so I guess the advice that I gave my friend in the last video, where I talked about the serenity prayer, and I said, we talked about God grant me the serenity to let go of the things that I can't control, the courage to change the ones I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That is a method that is an attempt to deal with these obstacles and these negative thoughts that are out of our hands but are still in our heads. And that was an attempt to deal with it. I think the same thing applies to all sorts of other negative thoughts that we have during these times. I'll give you an example. I like to think of, so picture your thoughts as a blue sky, like a beautiful blue sky. Those are our positive thoughts. We all love looking at blue skies. We all feel positive. We do, right? Like, hopefully this isn't just me. Hopefully I'm not the only weirdo that, I don't think I am. Maybe I am. Anyway, we're using blue skies, okay? We're using blue skies. Those are our positive thoughts. And on occasion, a cloud drifts through our beautiful blue sky. We have two choices on how we can deal with the cloud. One, we can ignore it. I don't see you. I don't see the cloud. But the problem is, then we're not prepared for the rain. We're hiding from the cloud. We're not prepared for the wind. We're not prepared for the cold. The other way we could deal with it is we could say, there's a rain cloud. Oh my God, This is terrible. I hate gray skies. I was enjoying the beauty of the blue sky and the sun. This is going to ruin my day. Oh my gosh. I can start worrying about, I don't know, like I need an umbrella. I don't have a raincoat. How cold is it going to be? Am I dressed sufficiently? Oh my gosh. Like, I can't believe this. Like, look at this. It's a cloudy day now. How terrible. Or we can just notice the cloud. We can say, hey, there's a rain cloud. That's it. We can acknowledge it. And that is how I think we should be dealing with the negative thoughts. We acknowledge their presence, so we're prepared if it rains. But we're not fixated on them to the point where we're stuck and we don't notice the blue sky. We don't have to chase our negative thoughts. We can just let them pass. And I know it's easier said than done because we're dealing with a lot of this stuff. Like, it's stuff we have to deal with. Okay, so we can deal with it and we can acknowledge it. And hopefully we don't use so much energy trying to control it that we forget that what we should actually be directing our energy and our focus on are the silver linings and the blue skies behind. So yeah, that is what I wanted to share with y'all. And I don't know if it makes any sense. It's like 1:30 a.m. and this is spontaneous. I don't know, hopefully it makes sense. But I think we could all learn to let go of this hold that we have on negativity, without having to be fake or inauthentic or positive. Again, we're not running, we're not hiding from the negative. We're just acknowledging its existence and letting it pass. One of the things that I am, admittedly, is somebody who likes control. Like, a lot of my life is based on trying to gain control of my life, control of my everyday environment. My solution to everything is not to run, it's to fix it. So I'm somebody that has a lot of trouble letting go. It's something that I've worked on a lot. And same thing with my friend who I talked about yesterday, the other INFJ or INTJ or whatever he may be. He is somebody that likes to control stuff, right? He plans things out. He holds on to things. But I think especially for us, it's not that we need to let go of a need for control, really. That's something that that I've struggled to do. It's actually, we need to let go of the things we can't control so that we can focus on the things that we can. And that's a perspective that I want to share, is that it's not about fighting your nature all the time. Sometimes it's about directing your nature and pointing yourself in the right direction. So you're concentrating on the things that are healthy for you. I can't hold on to something that's worth holding in my hands while I'm full up on things that don't belong to me. And so that's why we need to let go of those things. Let go of the negativity. Just watch it pass. Acknowledge its presence and let it pass. So anyway, I don't even know if that's exactly what I intended to say when I set out, but yeah, hopefully it makes some sense to y'all. So let's all try to do that a little bit more. Let's not chase the rain clouds, and let's not run from the rain clouds. Let's just acknowledge them. I think we can all benefit from it. All right, guys. I'm off to bed. I guess this is the part where I'm supposed to tell you, go pound that like button and push subscribe and turn on notifications. Most of you guys actually already have. I really appreciate you guys watching. Thanks, and good night.